everyone. Welcome to the Preemie Chats, a space where we connect, learn, and share stories about the world of prematurity. I'm Fabiana Bacchini. I'm a proud Preemie parent and executive director of the Canadian Premature Babies Foundation, as known as CPBF, and I'm honored to have you join us here today. Preemie Chats is brought to you by CPBF, a parent-led charitable organization dedicated to supporting families, advocating for the needs of premature babies, and providing the latest information and resources to help parents and caregivers navigate this journey. Whether you are a parent, a healthcare professional, researcher, or someone interested in understanding more about preterm birth, you are in the right place. Together, we are building a supportive community where stories are shared, questions are answered, and new evidence is explored, and no one feels alone. Be sure to visit our website, canadianpreemies.org, where you'll find helpful resources, our latest projects, and most importantly, a community of people who wants to see our little babies thrive. If you're watching us live today, join the conversation. Share your questions and comments in the chat, and we'll address them during our program. If you're watching a recorded session, you can still connect with us through our website, because we believe that it's through meaningful conversations like this one that we can advance practice and learn together. So let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. And today we'll be discussing how a parent advisory committee in Toronto supports families in the NICU. Established in 1989, the Mount Sinai NICU Parent Advisory Committee, as known as PAC, is the longest running PAC in Canada. It was founded to support families through their NICU journey and beyond. This session will highlight how former NICU parents and staff representatives collaborate to create a compassionate, inclusive space that uplifts others through shared experiences, advocacy, and meaningful connection. The discussion will offer practical ideas, real-life examples, and encouragement for those aiming to enhance NICU family support through parent involvement. And I have here joining us live three amazing people. First is Shireen Fakira, who is a dedicated co-chair of the Parent Advisory Committee, where she's been an active member for the past 5 years. Shireen's journey to the NICU world began in 2019 when her baby was born at just 28 weeks, weighing only 530 grams, and she spent 121 days in the hospital. That experience sparked a deep passion for supporting other families through their own NICU journeys. She now gives back through various hospital family advisory committees and patient partner programs, offering her voice as both an advocate and a learner. Shireen, thank you so much for being here today with us.
Thank you, Fabiana. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be a part of this very important discussion.
Thank you. And now I'm bringing here Janet Narciso, who gave me a really short bio. Janet has been a nurse at Mount Sinai's NICU for over 40 years. She's currently the parent resource nurse and RSV coordinator in the NICU. Janet, thank you so much for being here this afternoon.
Thank you very much for having me. It's such a pleasure to bring the group a little bit of information about our PAC committee.
That's wonderful. And last but not least, Adriana Bekiri, who is the co-chair of the Sinai Parent Advisory Committee. After giving birth at just 27 weeks, her daughter spent 149 days in the NICU. This life-changing experience led Adriana to join the committee in 2023. She's passionate about supporting NICU families and is deeply committed to being a source of strength, advocacy, and hope for parents and their babies during their NICU journeys. She's an inspiration to fellow PAC members and play a key role in shaping initiatives that directly support families navigating challenges similar to her own. Thank you so much, Adriana, for being here. I'm so honored that the three of you agree to have this session with CPBF to really show other hospitals and other parents around the world how we can do this together and support more families. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Fabiana, for the opportunity. And we are very excited in sharing how to give a little bit more insight of the parent committee. Thank you.
That's wonderful. So let's start with Janet. Janet, we do have a presentation to share with us. So Adriana and Shireen, we are going to get back to you later. So Janet, the floor is yours. And if you are watching live, please do send your questions. We're going to address them during after the presentation.
Great. So thank you very much. And I hope this session will be informative for you on how to start a PAC committee or where Mount Sinai started. So a little bit about our NICU. We're a downtown Toronto hospital. We have 7,000 deliveries a year and about 1,100 admissions to the NICU. So we're a fairly large unit. We promote family integrated care, or FI care, where parents are the most important part of the care team. We're a 62-bed unit where we are a mix of level 3 and level 2 babies. We care for infants as small as 22 weeks up to term, and we see a lot of surgical and cardiac babies due to our proximity to sick kids. We're just a tunnel walk away from Sick Children's Hospital. We do see babies from all over Canada, and we have a relationship with Bermuda, so we see some of their babies also. There are about 220 nurses, medical doctors, nurse practitioners, respiratory therapists, social workers, pharmacy dietitians, OT, PT. It takes a community to raise a child. Most of our infants are transferred to our level 2 partners. So in the beginning, and you'll see at the top of my screen, our 2 different PAC logos. Over time, we have changed, we've evolved. And that's important to do, to change with the times. So the first logo on the left-hand side was one that we had used, and then now we've updated, and I believe Shireen and Adriana might talk a little bit about the upgrade to that new logo. So in 1989, our Parent Advisory Committee was established, and we call it PAC. So it's a PAC of parents, which makes good sense. Parents were involved in the design of our 2 units. And before we started the actual Parent Advisory Committee, we had parents that gave feedback on our new unit. And we realized we had tapped into somebody that had patient experience, and we wanted to work with them in collaboration and partnership to create an NICU that was both good for the staff and good for the parents. Monthly meetings were started in 1989, and they were usually done in person. But over time, we started creating agendas, meeting minutes. And during COVID, we realized this group was extremely important because there was a lot of messaging going out to families. So we needed to have the Parent Advisory Committee on board to help us disseminate that information to families. So we started a Zoom platform. And that was really important because it brought in parents from all over Ontario, as opposed to just the ones that could make it to the in-person meeting. We have different roles, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. We have about 36 members currently, and Shireen is our outgoing co-chair, and incoming is Kayla. And we have Adriana, who's going into her second year of co-chair. Our parent resource nurse and our parent program social worker are also involved with PAC. They're the liaison between the hospital and the parents. The PAC group is an integral part in family integrated care. And they were part of the pre-implementation, where we had some families that went out to Estonia to see what was done there. And they were a part of the development and this ongoing piece for family integrated care. So how to get a PAC group started? You need buy-in from leadership. Because there is an element of financial support. It isn't a lot to start, but parents shouldn't be paying for things out of their pocket. So a little bit of a pocket of money is really important. You need to have the leadership buy in that the parents come with this lived experience, and we have to value it. We also thought about who facilitator would be for this group. You need someone that would be that liaison between the parents and the hospital. So who would the facilitator be? And do you have some engaged parents already? And we often hear parents want to give back. So getting a small group of parents together who maybe have some ideas on how to give back or how to improve things, and create a terms of reference. That's really important to make this committee official. So create some guidelines so when parents are signing up, they know what they're committing to. Their lives are busy. So whether it's meeting once a month as we do, whether it's an hour long or less, just creating some terms of reference so parents can understand what they're committing to. And think of a project a parent group can help with and start small. So how to recruit parents and the criteria for that. So we do a lot of conversing with the families. And as we get closer to discharge, we tend to kind of sense parents that may be a little more interested in giving back in the form of a committee. Social worker and nurses will have conversations and kind of highlight those that are really keen and eager. They want to do something. They just don't know what to do. So they do want to give back, but we've kind of got to guide them as to how to give back. It's really important to get their contact information. And part of the criteria, I'll talk a little bit why it's important for that contact information, because they won't be necessarily signing up right away when they're discharged. So get some contact information. Email is great. We have signage around the unit saying how to give back, whether it be parent advisory, whether it be parent buddy, or whether it's donating your breast milk. So giving them ways to give back. Parents do want to give back. We also have newsletters, and we're quite good with our social media right now. And we'll talk a little bit about that later too, and how we recruit parents from that means. The criteria for being a parent on the Parent Advisory Committee is really easy, actually. We usually like to wait some time till the parent's comfortable with their life at home with their little ones. Some of our babies do go home on medical devices or on continued medical care. So we want to give them a time to kind of get used to that, to understand what that looks like for them and what their routine looks like before they join a committee. We want parents from diverse backgrounds and locations. This is really important. Everybody's voice should be heard. Everybody's had their own unique journey, and they can bring to the table their own experiences. A willingness to help other families. And we hear that from parents. They want to help. And sometimes they start helping other parents while they're in the NICU. So that willingness to help and to improve upon their experience. If something didn't go right, how can they make it better for the next group of parents coming in? So how do we keep parents engaged? So we are a very long-running parent advisory committee. So how do you keep parents engaged? Well, you need to respect and appreciate their time and experience. They are volunteering, so respect their time. Provide them the opportunity of engagement and feedback with the NICU staff and to share their initiatives. They have to be able to let people know what they've done, and they have to have a voice, and we have to be listening. Keep projects small and attainable to start. Also, that might be due to financial reasons, but start small, and it's really easy to start small. Celebrate and acknowledge the wins, and provide rationale if there's a project or an initiative that isn't feasible. Meet regularly and create agendas and minutes. So you want to make sure that this committee is seen as something that meets regularly, and those people that can't attend due to childcare can get the meeting minutes and feel like they're still part of what's going on. And create an atmosphere that respects and values all participants. Everybody has their own little strengths, their own little superpowers. Some may be great at, talking. Some may be great at ideas. Some might be great at doing. Some might be great at participating with others. Invite guest speakers. And we've done a lot of this where people want to learn how we've established our PAC group. So invite people to speak. We've invited our follow-up clinic to come and chat and let us know some updates on what the trends are. And tap into their strengths. Like I said, they all have their own superpowers. So tap into the strengths that they have. So what supports are needed from the hospital or the unit? So there needs to be support and guidance from dedicated staff to facilitate meetings and initiatives. So someone has to be the go-to person. And that person would also support them if there's any struggles in being part of a parent advisory committee where it might trigger some things. Being a liaison between the unit and the parent advisory committee. So you need to have that constant person. There has to be some financial support. Even if it's just a matter of making Father's Day gifts, there has to be a little bit of financial support there. And then a Zoom platform or an in-person space, whatever works best for your group of parents. So providing them with that little space that they can have their meetings and choosing a time that works best for the parents. Promote the value of this committee to staff. So we have people that have questions about, is this a letter that can go out to parents? Promote the parent advisory committee as a place where these letters can go to be vetted by the parents because the letters are going out to parents. So what have our PAC involvement been since 2019, our involvement and achievements? Well, we had a speaker that was from our follow-up clinic who talked about language and communication being an issue with our preterm population. Our parent advisory group decided to do something about that, created bookmarks, created an info sheet as to why reading, talking, singing, praying is important. And they also gather books. So we give a book to every baby who reaches 7 days old. And these books are all donated by families. So that is a Talk to Me campaign. We have an annual reunion, which we'll talk about that later. And then we have a secure photo and video messaging system that we started just around the start of COVID, which was really vital for those parents that couldn't come in. They could get a picture or video clip of their baby. Parents were involved in the steering and operational committee. And in 2023, we had written an article, and 2 of the parents were part of the authors on this article, which was published in Children magazine. They've done many other things, but I'm going to let Shireen and Adriana talk about those. So I want to thank every parent who's interested in improving the NICU journey for others, and to the staff that realize the importance of supporting families on this journey of a lifetime. And as Audrey Hepburn said, nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I'm possible. So I'm going to hand it over to Adriana and Shireen.
Thank you, Janet. That was such a great summary of what the PAC has achieved at Sinai and how you guys involve parents. I'm very grateful. So we are going to have a Q&A, so please do send your questions. So now I know Adriana and Shireen have a presentation, and then we do the Q&A right after. So the floor is yours.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. And we are both co-chairs. My name is Shireen, and the way I became involved is just that I had a daughter who was born at 28 weeks, and she was in the hospital for 121 days. And that experience, I guess, went beyond the NICU stay, came home with me, and it resonated with me so much in the sense where I did want to give back. The opportunity did come up, and I had learned of PAC, and I'm very happy to be giving back and sharing from our experiences to help better stays of other parents who are in the NICU as well.
Hi, everybody. As you know, my name is Adriana. My daughter had a 149-day NICU stay, so she did come with a little bit of complications, of course, many different things, which after discharge, different specialist appointments, follow-up. The most important thing that resonated with me is wanting to be that beacon of hope for other parents that are navigating through the NICU journey. So I wanted to give back in a meaningful way and help create a more compassionate, informed, and connected community for NICU families.
So as we become involved, we get that opportunity to give back to various families who are in the NICU. And that's really, I would say, so impactful or just heartfelt, because we do give back really wanting to connect because it's a part of our healing as well. But it also becomes fulfilling to see that other families, their stays are better than what they would have been, just with a little impact that we're doing now, which is maybe amplified because it's something small and it makes a big difference. From giving back, we partner with various staff in the hospital as well, and also other parents in the hospital as well who also had the same experience. So even parents who are not necessarily a part of our PAC, they will connect with us so they can learn how to give back in a way that we will take back, and also work with our staff who are the liaison in the hospital as well.
All right, perfect. So sense of community. We're involved because we believe in the power of sharing our lived experiences to support others. Giving back to the NICU community is deeply meaningful to us, and it allows us to connect with other parents who are also passionate about making a difference. Through our work, we've built strong partnerships with the hospital staff, creating a supportive network for families. Together, we're making a lasting impact of the NICU community.
So when we get together for our meetings, which are monthly, we talk about various initiatives that will make an impact on days that may be a little bit lonely for parents, because we don't expect to be in there, for example, for Mother's Day or Father's Day. So we take these in and we make them their various initiatives, as we call them. And those will be, as I mentioned, various holidays. And then we also have what you can see in the middle there, the Talk to Me campaign. The Talk to Me campaign was started in 2019 by a PAC parent, where we will run a promotion, or we will advertise on our social media that maybe we are running a little bit low on books, because the importance of talking to our babies, as we know, has such a profound impact on the children while they are in the NICU. So that Talk to Me campaign, we help we get 1,000 new babies every year, and those books come from families directly to the NICU. So it's a very immediate impact and very satisfying as well.
So in collaboration with one of our veteran parents and a few PAC members, we created a NICU journal designed to support families throughout their journey. This journal replaced the older binders we previously used and offers a more personal, organized, and user-friendly experience. It allows parents to track their baby's weight, care times, kangaroo care, milestones, and important notes or questions. It also includes vital NICU information that can help families better understand their baby's care. Most importantly, it provides space for parents to reflect and journal how they're helping them feel more involved, informed, and emotionally supported during their time in the NICU.
So something that we also do is, during our meetings, is we connect with different departments in the hospital. Sometimes we have various guests, maybe from the follow-up clinic, occupational therapists, and they would like to have our feedback, as we do have that lived experience in the hospital, to say, how would this have been different for you in your stay? So we give them a spotlight or meeting time when we are all meeting. Parents will provide feedback, and that does help, I'd say, tune their type of care that they give going forward, so that we know that, again, that's impacting parents and families in the NICU in a positive manner. This is a part of FICARE, which is Family Integrated Care. So that is vital to the PAC Advisory Committee. So the advice or the advisory in the PAC Advisory Committee. One of the other opportunities that came up through the connections was a couple of parents. We were able to go through a process to have our hospital accredited with the Magnet accreditation. I believe we're the only hospital in Canada right now who has that certification. And it is with the result of involving our parents from the PAC committee, which is a great something to be proud of. The
next slide.
Next slide, please. Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay. So yeah, we have basically integrated rollout programs also involved with parents. So I remember being a part of E-Rounds when E-Rounds first came together. And E-Rounds was a way, let's suppose parents couldn't come to the hospital during that time when information was very important to hear, when all of the doctors were giving reports and basically telling you what's going to happen in the next few days or what we believe. If parents couldn't come, they had now access through E-Rounds to see what was going on and hear what was being said, and also have the opportunity to ask questions to the doctors. Let's suppose one of the parents had to work, or they just couldn't make it there for that day, they weren't feeling well, then they're still involved. And as mentioned before, we in the last few years have secured a new messaging system to send parents short video clips and photos of their babies. So this does involve our parents connecting with social workers, the hospital staff, and making sure that they give various things such as consent and the okay to be a part of these programs. But it allows parents to feel more comfortable knowing what is going on rather than not knowing. So we can go to the next slide. So you can go ahead.
No worries. The co-chair role was established in 2020. Before that, the Parent Advisory Committee operated as a collaborative effort among a smaller group of parents. Today, we follow a 2-year term model. One co-chair is in their second year serving as the lead, while the other is in their first year learning and supporting. This structure ensures continuity and mentorship within the team.
Yeah. And also, while you're in a co-chair role, you do have a little bit more engagement with the hospital staff, such as social workers, resource nurses, occupational therapists, doctors, NICU staff, management, and even marketing team, while also developing relationships with people who may not be in the hospital, but you're developing that relationship for more support. The volunteer commitment of a co-chair is approximately 2 to 5 hours per week, depending on the current and upcoming events. And we communicate using emails, WhatsApp, and depending on the project and who is involved, we might call each other as well. And we can go to the next slide. So we always keep in mind that everybody, including the co-chairs, we're all volunteering. And during our meetings, we have to remember that we're all parents. So sometimes our adorable babies are on our lap, and that's completely okay. Sometimes some of our volunteers can't make every meeting, and that's okay. But the one thing that we do is we make sure everyone is involved. So we make sure that everyone is involved by having someone record our minutes of meetings. Our minutes of meetings are then emailed to each PAC member, and that helps them stay informed, but also give back where they can if they see an opportunity come up. Okay. And you can go to the next slide, please. As time went on, as Adriana mentioned, the co-chair role started in 2019. And as the evolution of PAC has happened, we've added on 2 more positions. One is the treasurers, because there is a financial aspect, as mentioned before. And that helps us understand how much we can utilize and where our money can go. And we decide these things during our meetings, asking our treasurers and usually by votes from PAC members as well. And then our secretary does help in a slightly admin position, recording minutes of meetings, which is what we do send out to participants who maybe weren't able to make it in. We can go to the next slide.
So we do have social media channels. We do have a Facebook group, which the link shows here, in our Instagram, which is MSNICU PAC. So we use social media to raise awareness about the challenges NICU families face and to highlight their needs. It's also a great way to promote important events like reunions and fundraisers. We share success stories and milestones to celebrate the journeys of NICU graduates and provide educational tips and resources to support families. Most importantly, social media helps us engage with and grow the PAC community, creating a supportive space where families and staff can connect. So as you noticed in Janet's presentation, she did have our older logo and our newer logo. So a few PAC members collaborated together and we created a new logo here, which shows the different colors. And so we do use that across, and we also use social media to help recruit families, where families are able to, if a family member is interested in joining the committee, they are able to contact us through there, and then we put them through the social worker to get more information. We also do a newsletter. So the newsletter is sent out quarterly to past NICU families and staff, including doctors, nurses, therapists, and the follow-up clinic team. It's created using Canva, so it allows us to organize it by using topics and make it visually engaging and easy to read. Each edition includes a message from the PAC leadership team, stories and updates from past NICU graduates of all ages, and helpful tips from occupational therapy, physiotherapy, and the follow-up clinic. We also share any new PAC initiatives, upcoming events, and highlight family milestones or ways parents can stay connected. The newsletter helps us keep our NICU community informed, engaged, and supported even long after discharge. So here's an example of the newsletter that I created. I use Canva. So Canva, of course, is a free resource to be able to create it. And we do create different outlines for different topics.
So as you saw in that newsletter, we were letting everybody know that we are about to celebrate our annual reunion. It just passed this past Sunday. And every year we get together. Previously, we were in a different park, and now we are at a new park where we can host so many people, and it's wonderful. It's a wonderful way that we promote who we are, but we are very highly backed by the Sinai Foundation. So the Sinai Foundation from the hospital, they have monetarily helped us repeat this every year, except for the years of COVID. We entertain all the families. It is wonderful to see all the babies and the staff show up to this. This year we had a DJ, we had superheroes, fire truck, photo booth. We have face painting. We have the ability to, just see everybody that we were in there with and thank each other. So it's a very heartwarming event. And something that we do also is we take the opportunity to raise more money. So we raise more money through our initiatives with our promotional draw. And this is where our partnerships come in handy, is we ask our partners, is there something you can do to help us raise money for this amazing event? So the relationship is built, and then there's also that satisfaction from them as well. I do remember one of the partners that were there was also a grown man, but he was also a NICU baby. So it was something near and dear to his heart as well for him to be there. Next slide.
So for World Prematurity Day, which is widely celebrated, it is hosted on Zoom. So we planned the event and hosted on Zoom, where parents on our email list were sent a link to sign up. So the social worker does have an email list, and this is also how we use constant contact as a way to be able to send out all the email information. For example, reunion, how to register. World Prematurity Day is one of them where they are able to register and can join in on us. So all the speakers were volunteered, so they donated their time. The event came together at no cost. We were blown away with the turnover, which had 100 active responses from families, with an estimated 300 to 400 people joining us to engage, connect, and celebrate. We were honored to have special guests like Kate from Super Simple Songs, she's known on YouTube, along with inspiring authors and speakers who shared their messages of hope and resilience. A huge thank you goes to, we also had chat minders who were keeping the conversation flowing to the parents. So with that chat minding, that also had parents who felt very comfortable in sharing their journey at the end of the Zoom. And they were able to share their own NICU journeys. The stories are the heart of what we do and why we do it. Together, we made World Prematurity Day unforgettable.
So this is something that came out of, I guess you'd say, a need. When I had my daughter in 2019, I felt very much compelled to connect with other mothers in the same year, but also in the unit at the same time. And I asked them if they would like to join a WhatsApp group. So just, again, another free platform where we could all connect with each other, share what we were going through. And it was wonderful because all of our babies were born in the same year. So our babies literally have grown up with each other, or we watch each other's babies grow up. It had gained popularity, and with one of the social workers, we had been able to now promote 5 additional groups. I kind of keep a maximum in each group, and year by year, we've had about 5 groups and almost 250 members join. What is so nice about this is that parents can say, I'm going through this right now. Did your child go through this? Or does anybody know what the best stroller is right now? Or remember when we did this? And it's really nice. It does create community. It really does create support and friendships, hopefully. And I've seen it grow, and it's a nice, surprising initiative. So that is a very easy place to start if you're looking to gain some community in your hospital with other mothers or parents or fathers in your group. So that's something you can look for as well.
So enhancing communication, building a community. So primarily our communication is through email to all of our PAC members. Recently, we launched a WhatsApp community for easier real-time connection. So again, we are utilizing resources that are free, that come to no cost for us. So we do also have subgroups in there, which include a group for the treasurers, reunion planning, a general chat, and also a social media group. So For example, in our social media, we do have about I believe 5 to 7 people in that chat where we do brainstorm, create a calendar for the year of everything of things that we can post, such as, you know, World Prematurity Day, Preeclampsia Month, certain celebrations like that. It allows our members to collaborate, share ideas, and stay connected more efficiently. So I feel we do have members that, you know, are happy to receive the emails, but unfortunately are not able to attend the Zoom meeting. So everyone is able to contribute in many different ways. They don't necessarily have to be on our meeting to attend the meeting. As they mentioned, we do get the email minutes. Everyone does contribute, and we are very happy and grateful for each and every PAC member that we do have.
So I know Janet had talked about this at the end, but this is maybe an easy place to start, or hopefully give you some easy ideas to start within your community. So we would first suggest connect with your hospital, either your nurse or social worker, express your interests, because the hospital support is key in order for you to collaborate and give back to where you want to give back. They will help connect you to other parents who maybe they express the same interest. So that is an easy way, because you may not have spoken to the person in the room next to you, but they had the same interests. The small things that you can collaborate on, such as a holiday, is a great place to start. It only takes 1 or 2 or 3 people to start. You can start an Instagram account, and you can also see if there's a volunteering program in the hospital that aligns with your efforts there as well. You can go to next slide, please. And so from there, once you have you have a group established, you can then set up your monthly meetings or determine what time frame works well for you. With us, we use a month, and our goal is 1 hour per month. Ours runs an hour and a half, and just to let you know, it does go over an hour and a half sometimes, and that's completely okay. We keep connected, as Adriana mentioned, through email and WhatsApp. We do have someone take care or write down the minutes of meetings. That's to go out to people who cannot make it. And you can pre-plan your topics for your meetings, and you can also invite relative hospital staff or ask hospital staff if there's something that they would like to present. And once your group has grown, you can start to implement various roles to help keep your agenda and your tasks organized. So thank you everybody for watching. We hope that this has helped. I think we're going to go on to Q&A with Fabiana and Janet. And thank you so much, Fabiana, for having us.
Thank you. Such a lovely presentation. And wow, how far you have come is amazing, because I joined PAC in 2013. It was a very different PAC than what it is today. This is where I start my new career in this role as an advocate in Canada. And I'm so grateful to see how much you guys have done in such a short period of time. It's truly remarkable. So thank you. So we do have questions. I'm going to add a question here first from Juliet. She is in the Netherlands. Juliet is an adult, was born preterm. And she said she has a committee in the Netherlands. It consists out of 2 NICU parents and 2 former neonatal patients, now preemie adults. Our advisory committee used to be consisted out of only former NICU parents. Since a few years, 2 former NICU patients are involved. Do you wish to have former neonatal patients involved as well within your committees? From my perspective, it might be very useful to use the knowledge and lived experience of former NICU patients as well, and combine this with parents' knowledge. Juliette, thank you so much for your question. Juliette is very active in Europe in all her advocacy and her brilliant work at Erasmus University. So who wants to take that question?
I can take that question. We've actually had former, not former NICU patients, but we've had grandparents, and we also have a sibling as well, because they also live that experience in a different way, and their perspective is just as important. So it would be amazing one day if we did have a NICU patient become a part of PAC.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we have a lot of young adults. I think it's an open invitation would be interesting to have, because they also want to give back, which is great. opportunity for us to learn from now the adults. Janet, I have a question for you regarding the challenges of having a parent advisory committee, because there's so many new ideas. Parents come, sometimes we come with not so positive experience and we want to change that experience. So what are the challenges that you faced with PAC over the few years that you've been running? Because I know you've been running for many. Running the PAC, and how do you deal with some challenges of having this committee?
So I think that's a great question. There are challenges, and I do think the parents that have not had the smoothest transition through their NICU journey are the important ones that should be on PAC, because they're looking to improve the future for families that are in the NICU. It's not about only including those parents who had a great time and think everything was wonderful. It's about trying to make improvements, and you can only make improvements if you identify problems. And I think it's the attitude of the unit to say, this was identified by a parent who went through that journey. We need to look at this. We need to pay attention and listen and make it better. There are other little challenges where sometimes there are lofty goals, and it's like, we're going to do all of this. And I think that's where that liaison between the unit and the parent advisory is so important, to say, well, infection control won't allow that, or finances, remembering how many babies are in the unit, or maybe it isn't the right time at this moment and we can't really accomplish that, as much as it's a great idea, and to say that it could be kept for a later date when we can really kind of jump in and make those improvements. We do look to our parents when there are things that are happening in the unit that maybe we could have done better. And once we start kind of wanting to reach out to families who are currently in the NICU, it's hard to do that. So it's much easier to go to parents who walked that journey already to say, we're having this issue. Any ideas on how we can get the message across to parents, or how we can make improvements? So we have had our share of challenges. I think every committee and everything we do is going to come with a couple of challenges. And Fabiana, I'm going to say that the Canadian Premature Baby Foundation is a perfect example of a very global, national parent advisory committee. And I think that has really highlighted things. And that's why these little committees start small, and you need to start small, and you need to listen to parents. As much as it may be hurtful and you don't want to hear the comments that aren't so great, we need to listen to that to make it better. You can only make improvements that way.
Absolutely. So I think my question is the same to you, Shireen and Adriana. What are the challenges that you face as a co-chair of such a committee? Because I was not a co-chair. There was no co-chair my time there. But sometimes you come with all these ideas. We have no idea that it's going to take a few years to implement, if we can implement. Sometimes it creates frustration because we don't anticipate those, the red tapes from hospitals. So what challenge have you faced over this last few years as co-chairs?
Did you want to go ahead, Adriana? Or
you can go first, Shireen. It's all right.
I would say that although communication is amazing, it would be the challenge of always getting response when you need it, respecting that everyone is a volunteer. We need to, again, it boils down to the time and the communication. So when we have someone who says, yes, I will do this, we kind of tend to run with that, which is great, because although we are 36, maybe sometimes with a particular initiative, only one or two people can carry that. However, we do bring it back to PAC and we ask for involvement and opinions. So that will be more of a time commitment. And then the next one is following in that same line is we take a break for summer. So when we take a break for summer, we're not as involved or as in touch with each other as maybe in the future we won't take a break. I don't know. But because of that, we like to tie things up as quick as we can in June, which is this month. So we feel the pressure of let's get a lot of things done right now, or let's prepare it for September. So that would be where I would say it's a challenge.
So as Shireen mentioned that we are off. So my daughter was born actually June 1st. So our NICU journey started at a time when the PAC, like the committee, was on their break, right? So by using our experiences, we do create initiatives. So one initiative that we are planning to start is to do something over the summer. So for different holidays, we do different initiatives. So by bringing in our past lived-in experiences with the NICU, I was there for 5 months, right? So we were discharged end of October. So it was like 2 different seasons, summer and fall and whatnot. So coming into it's implementing the ideas as well, right? So having the response from the different members and the involvement in getting the decisions done, right? Implementing, keeping budget in mind, right? Like you can do many different things. However, infection control, right? So for example, Mother's Day, Father's Day, we may have had ideas where we wanted to do, little footprints for the babies, but however, unfortunately, due to infection control, we were unable to do that, keeping that in mind. So by being co-chair, I feel we can advocate and be able to kind of, as we've created different roles, treasurer, secretary, we are able now to have each member kind of take in some certain tasks in regards to different things where we will go to them for certain, again, an initiative. We'll have the treasurer, hey, how much what's our budget? How many babies? So it's just utilizing everybody's strengths in coming together with different things for the babies. At the end of the day, our common goal is the babies and the families in the NICU.
That is great. You're kind of running a mini organization there with PAC right now. Okay, but let's not scare those who want to start a PAC, because you get a lot of infrastructure from the hospital. You have a dedicated person coming to attend the meetings on behalf of the hospital and be the liaison person. So Janet, for hospitals who don't have that infrastructure, don't have the financial capacity to do what Sinai does, or now you have 36 parents, but you didn't start with 36 parents. Correct. And you say you're going to start with 2-3 parents. But how can the hospital dedicate one person to help the PAC run or get it started, really? Because we know is a work in progress, right? Like, look, now you guys have a mini organization within the PAC. So we're not starting there. You're going to start small. But what was your advice for people that don't have all these resources that Sinai has?
So I'm very thankful for how the leadership at Mount Sinai has supported this group and felt it was really important. I don't think it has to start off big. When we initially started, there wasn't a lot of funding for it. And we had parents that created Mother's Day cards, and they were just plain little cards. Or we had another mom whose child's school wanted to do Mother's Day cards for the babies in the NICU, or to put a poster together. So I think it can really start off small. It doesn't have to be a big financial investment. And I think I really see how our Parent Advisory Committee has evolved over time. These things did not happen at the beginning. So you really do have to start small. And sometimes just having a parent who's willing to talk to other parents, maybe come in, and we have some of our parents do classes where they do just a conversation, come in and just spend the afternoon with, a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, and talk to some of the parents and talk about your journey and what their journey looks like. We have a very established Parent Advisory Committee. We didn't start like that, but it's bringing the parents to that table. And so we have 2 new units. The first unit, we just happened to tap into people and just say, hey, parents, what do you think? It was just done in conversation like that. The second unit that we built, which we moved into in 2014, was absolutely, we need parents involved. Their feedback was very important. It was important to have the nurses and the doctors like the environment. But if the parents are going to spend 100 and some odd days, what can we do to make that environment appropriate or comforting or relaxing for a parent? So that didn't really cost money. It was just tapping a parent on the shoulder and saying, Parent Advisory, do you have anybody that wants to help with this project? We were going to do the move anyways, but it's just kind of acknowledging their lived experience. And more than likely, none of the NICU staff have that lived experience. So we're just guessing at things. When we have this group of parents that are willing, able, to kind of give us that information so that we're on the right track. I think it's starting really small. You're putting a sign up and it has to do with parents, or you want parents to read it, bring it to a couple of parents and say, hey, what do you think of this? Do I have the wording right? And it's amazing how sometimes what I think is okay is not so okay for a parent. So it's just being mindful.
Absolutely. Janet, I think this is a question for you and for Adrienne and Shirin about diversity. Okay, we are in a very diverse country with a very diverse population, our NICUs. From my experience in a lot of committees, research committees, we don't have diversity. So how do you ensure you have some diversity in your advisory committee and bring all those voices? Because we know the challenge of some parents. They don't have childcare. They're single parent. They are from community that is underrepresented. They are coming from rural or remote areas in Canada. Are those voices heard from your experience in your specific PAC? I think that is my question, because a lot of people always ask, how do we involve all voices in this kind of work?
So I'm just going to quickly say, and then I'll let you ladies take over. But so when we went to the Zoom platform, I think that opened up a lot of doors. I think having a parent that lived out of the greater Toronto area made it really hard for them to attend meetings or feel like, well, I can't make it there. And I think childcare is an issue. Being a single parent or having a partner that's working, it's really hard to attend these meetings. So the Zoom platform opened that up. When we opened that up, we had a parent who had a baby from the islands, and she went back to the islands. She'd attend monthly meetings from the islands. So it's bringing that experience of her coming to another country to have her baby without supports, the unknown, and then going back to her country and being able to share that perspective. Can we do better? Absolutely. We're not there yet, but this group is open to everybody. And I think that's where the co-chairs play an important role, is once someone kind of attends a meeting just to check it out, is making sure that they're welcome, that they feel like their voice is heard. They may not be the loudest person in the room, but whatever they have to say, I think it's really important that we bring them into the group and say, what you have to say is important. Please tell us. And maybe you ladies can add, I'm sure, a lot more.
Yeah, I would add on with the Zoom calls, for example, there's many times where we're leaving the meetings and it's, my husband's not home yet. I have a busy, very busy 3-year-old. So there's many times where my daughter hops on and says hi to everybody. I think as co-chairs and just even as a PAC member, we do have that empathy, right? Where if someone may not feel comfortable bringing any feedback in the meeting, they are able to email us or any way where they best feel comfortable. And every idea is, we're always open to any ideas, because these ideas also can come from maybe their NICU experience that they did have in the NICU. We also do have some parents who are in the 10, 15 years ago in the NICU to now 2022 when we were going through the pandemic, right? So we all have different experiences, and we are open to everybody's ideas, and we're open to all of that.
That is great. Shirin, my question, I think, to you, because you've been longer as the co-chair of the PAC. How are the parents supported in the PAC itself? Because we know we are coming back to a place where the trauma happens. And sometimes we don't know until you are there again, or you put the alcohol in the hands again, or going up on the elevator. So and I know this is not a peer support group, this is an advisory group, but parents still come into the hospital if they are not on Zoom. So how is the support around those families, or any family coming, as a matter of fact, for the first time or the first few meetings, for them to settle, okay, I'm okay here, I can do this work?
Sometimes it will be, it is different for everybody, first of all. And I've been fortunate enough to only see everything happening online. Sometimes we will have some people come into the hospital. The support comes from trained hospital liaisons. So the nurse and the social worker, they are trained, and that is where we will make sure we stand on. And that's why it's important for them to have there. And they are also trained to reach out to those people should it be necessary. However, if we have emotional experiences and we have the triggers that happen, as Adriana mentioned, we all have that empathy towards each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we can agree we have a learned language that we share as well.
Mm-hmm.
So with that learned language that we will receive in that community space of where we all are, because sometimes we just come on to be with each other.
Mm-hmm.
We understand. One thing I used to do when I came on, I was like, oh, my daughter went to Sick Kids yesterday, and you know what this is like. And then someone else will say, oh yes, we went through that too. So the support is there, and there's no pressure to come immediately back. There's no pressure to be immediately involved. And sometimes you just want to listen to see how you can contribute when you are ready in your capacity. I think that's very important.
That is wonderful. Anything else before we wrap up? Any final thoughts from Janet, Adriana?
For me, it's just such a privilege to be here on this platform with all of you wonderful parents who really are giving back to parents in the NICU, and I think that's truly amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, thank you, Fabiana. I think one thing that unites us like NICU parents is we all understand it, no matter if you have a 5-day NICU stay, 100-day NICU stay, we understand. And, you know, we that's, I think, what connects us all as NICU parents. No NICU journey is the same, and that's what makes us all each unique.
Mm-hmm.
And our babies, you know, NICU warriors. So we do celebrate them. And I feel like this is why I'm doing what I'm doing, because when I look at my daughter, I'm very grateful for Mount Sinai, also Canadian Preemie Foundation, right? Like different things, initiatives that you have done throughout the hospital. Like that's what made a difference for me while I was navigating through my 5-month NICU stay. So this is what I want to, this is why I enjoy what I'm doing, because I want to be that beacon of hope. Just if I can be that one for one parent, then I feel like I've done what what I'm meant to do. So thank you everybody for listening as well. Keep in mind we've have since 1989, right? So from then till now, I hope no one feels a little intimidated as to the initiatives that we have set in place. But again, with different PAC members, everyone brings something different to the table with life experiences, strengths as well, right? Everyone is into different things, different industries, right? So we can have that marketing background, finance, different things. Everyone unites together. So that is really something that is very beautiful about our committee of parents.
Absolutely. Any final thoughts, Shireen?
I would say that we all have that lived experience. We all have that new combined or learned language. I can say that we heal together really well, and we find each other in different spaces of understanding. We've developed amazing relationships here and outwardly, and it's a wonderful place to give back because it really is from our heart, and it really is, like Adriana said, looking at our children and knowing that other people are going through the same thing, so we can identify with each other, provide comfort, and enjoy the club that we didn't know we were going to be in.
I wanted to add, I once looked at past NICU parents where, you know, I was still into our NICU journey where parents are graduating or, you know, they're a year later. And I once looked at that and said, that's where I want to be or hope to be there. And now I'm there. And by being here now, 3 years post NICU, we hope to be that support for parents while they're navigating through the NICU. So.
Absolutely. And it was exactly the same to me. When I was at Sinai, I was part of the family integrated care study. I was probably one of the last families to sign up for the study. And I had peer support. And I always look at the two parent partners back then. Janet knows Jack and Didi. And one day I said, I want to be them to somebody else, right? Because I got so much support and I want to be that person. So I joined the PAC a year later. And that's exactly it. If you can make a difference in one family's life, I feel that it fulfills me. And if I can give hope to other families through my work, I think that is, you know, is worth all the heartbreaks that we face, the hard journeys, because our journeys do not end a discharge day.
Correct.
Okay, I always believe that we start a new chapter when we go home. And for us, doing this work is hard work. It's not always easy. You relive our traumas over and over again, but it's very meaningful. So I am so grateful to see what Sinai has done since I left in 2019, when I left the pack to join the foundation. And I'm just always in awe of the strength of the parents, because it takes courage to go back. And I'm always in awe of people like Janet that are willing to listen, to learn from us, and implement our sometimes crazy ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so grateful that you're all here today. And for people watching us who want to learn more about how to get started, or parents from Sinai who wants to join the pack, it's easy to access and find them on Instagram and Facebook. They are very active, a beautiful platform. So thank you, everyone, for being here today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Fabiana.
And thank you to everybody for joining in to hear about our parent committee.
Thank you. And to all of you watching us live, okay, let me take you guys out. So thank you. So for all of you watching us live, thank you for joining this session of the Primi Chats. And if you missed part of today's session and want to revisit it, you can find this episode on our YouTube channel and website, which is the CanadianPrimis.org. While you're there, you'll find many resources and support options we offer to help families on their journey. We also want to let you know that this year we are hosting our very first gala. It's on November 6th in Toronto, and all information is already on our website. And as a charitable organization, CPBF relies on the generous support of people like you. Your donations allow us to continue empowering families of premature babies every step of the way. Together, we can create a brighter future for all preemie babies and their families. So thank you again for being part of this community. And we'll see you again next Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Stay well.